You're welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Onyuchi Vangeline Choma, and in today's tutorials we'll be working on a pant. So without wasting much time, let's dive into the tutorials. So I have some of the measurements already drafted on my pattern paper, and this is my waist measurements. So my waistline, then from my waist to my hip line is about 9 inches. It's usually between 8 to 10 inches. So you go ahead and measure your client, and whatsoever you have, you square a line across this vertical line. Then I measured my crotch length. You can go ahead and measure your client, or you can manipulate it. There's a measurement for it which I'll be telling you. Your hip divided by 4, and my hip divided by 4 is 10.5. So I have that squared here. From my waistline to my crotch depth is 10.5, and from my waistline to my knee line I have about 19 inches. You can go ahead and measure your client. Then from my waistline I have my full length. Go ahead, measure your client. Whatsoever you have, you record and square a line. So next thing I'm going to be doing is to insert my hip circumference divided by 4. So my hip circumference divided by 4, I have about 10.5 inches. So I'm going to extend this line and mark. Okay, so I'm going to mark 10.5 on my hip line, mark 10.5 on my waistline, then I'll also mark 10.5 on my crouch line. So I'm going to go ahead and square a line over there. Then for my crotch extension, I'm going to impute my thigh measurement divided by 2. I have the thigh measurement of 26 inches. Then when divided by 2, I have 13 inches. Which is about 2.5 inch from this line. So for my curve, I'm going to come in here by 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to make a curve over there. Make sure not to go too deep. Then from here, I'm coming in here by 0.5 inch. So this becomes my new waistline. So next is that I'm going to insert my grain line on my pattern paper, and to do that I need to get the midpoint of this crotch depth and mark. We are using 13 inches, so the midpoint should be around 6.5. So this is 6.5, and I'm going to go ahead and mark 6.5 on my knee and on my full length. Then after that, I'm going to connect my ruler is not so long, so I need to mark it somewhere very close so that I can be able to join the lines together. So after that, the next is to start imputing my measurement. My waist measurement divided by 4 is about 8 inches. I'm using waist measurement of 32 inches. Divided by 4 is 8 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 8 inches here, starting from this line. Then my hip measurement, I already have my hip measurement here. I have my thigh measurement. Then my knee measurement is about, I'm using knee measurement of 18. 18 divided by 2, we should have 9 inch. 9 inch for the back panel and 9 inches for the front panel. So I'm going to divide these 9 inches between these two green line, and when divided I should have 4.5 on each panel. So I'm going to extend this line a bit so as to get my 4.5 on both sides. This is 4.5 and I have my 9 inches here. Then for my knee, I'm using knee circumference of 14 inches. When divided by 2, I should have like 7 inches for the front and for the back panel. Then for this front panel, I'm going to divide it by 2. And when divided by 2, I should have 7.5 inches on both sides of my panel. 3.5 inches on both sides of my panel. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines. So for the front panel, I won't be using that, so that's why I didn't put my dart there. But if you are going to insert that in your front panel, go ahead and leave like 1 inch for your darts. All right, so I'm going to connect this other one with a curve to meet this crotch line. So I'm going to also connect this using a straight line. Then for this part, I'm going to use a very nice curve. Alright, for this other side, I'm going to come in by 1 inch. Then connect it to my waistline. So after this, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the excess. Then if you want yours to have a pocket, you can come in here by 2 inches. Then also go down by 7 inches. Then make a curve there. If you want yours to be curvy, fine. If you want it to be straight, just go ahead and make it however you want it to be. So this is the pattern for my pocket. So I'll go ahead and cut out the measurements. Alright, so this is the front panel of my pant. So I'm here to cut out this slant here and also the pocket. Once I'm done with the back panel, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So without wasting much time, let's cut the back panel. So for the back panel, I already have my front panel on a fresh pattern paper to start drafting my pattern. So I have about 2 inches here and I have about some inches here. I think it should be about 1 inch. So I'm going to come in here by 1 inch to give me that fitted look. So I'm going to come in here by 1 inch, then go up for the back by 1.5 inch. It depends on how thick your client is. 1.5 inch, between 1.5 to 2 inches, depending on how your client is. So I'm going to go ahead and measure my waistline again for the front panel. What I have is 8, so I'm going to measure 8 from here. So this is where I have 8. Just try your best to keep this in place. Then I'm going to roll a straight line. To join the waist. Then after that, I'm going to take my measurement again to be on the safe side. What I'm taking for the waist is exactly 8 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and add extra 1 inch on all the sides here. For ease, all the way to the hem. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect it. So after that, I'm going to extend this, my crotch line, by 2 inches. So I have my 2 inches here. So from here, I'm coming up by 2 inches. Then connect the line to come and meet this one. Then after that, I'm going to extend 1 inch here. This is 1 inch. This is 1 inch. And this is 1 inch all the way to the hem. So let me go ahead and connect it using a very nice cord. So my back panel is ready. Then for my back, I'm going to be adding 1 inch allowance to it for my darts. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. So I'm going to include that here. Go ahead and measure 1 inch for my darts because I will have that at the back and reconnect. So for my back dart, I'm going to measure 4 inches for my dart. So I'm using the depth of 5 inches. This is the depth I'm using. Then 1 inch from both sides, half inch I mean from both sides. Then for the front one, I'm going to cut out this slant here. Then cut out the pockets. So after cutting out my front and back pattern, this is what I have. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the pockets, the zip shield and the zip flyer. So for my pockets, I have about 7 inches by 12 inches on fold. So I'm going to get my front pattern. And trace it out. So on this first panel, I'm going to trace out whatever I have here. Then cut it out. Just for the first one, I'm going to cut it out. Because my fabric is on fold, then this other thing I cut out from the pocket, I'm going to use it to reshape this other side. So after reshaping it, I'm going to cut out the excess, and I have my pocket. Trace out the excess here. So if your trouser is going to have band, like 1 inch band, just go ahead and reduce it by the length of the band you want. And you can cut out the band for yourself. So that is it about the pocket. For the zip shirt, we are using 7.5 inches by 4 inches, though it's on fold. So what I have here is 2 inches, then I'm going to cut it out. So this is 2 inches and this is 7.5 inch for the shell. It's folded into two. Then for the zip flyer, I have my fabric fold, my pattern paper fold into two, and I'll be using 7 inches for this. I'm using 7 inches for this, so I'm going to go ahead and mark 7 inches. Then give it a curve. So this is for my pocket flyer and this is for my pocket shield. So remember to also fold your, or rather cut out the band for the back panel too.